Hi everyone and welcome to the very first episode of a brand new series called Belgian Boys Euro Trip. This is my chance to take on the Euros and I'm going to be doing that with Belgium. Now why Belgium? They're the #1 ranked side in the world. Isn't that a little bit easy? Maybe, but to be honest, they haven't won anything yet, have they? And there's an awful lot of great attacking threat from them. Defensively though, not quite as solid, so it won't be quite as easy as you may think. Are we going to win it? Let's find out. So yes, welcome to the Euros. They have officially started a few days ago in real terms. Today we are starting our brand new series with them and we are doing it, as I say, with Belgium. Belgium are an interesting group of players because if we go and have a look at the squad that I've selected, you will see, actually let's go to the tactical page and just have a look through that one instead. It will give you a clearer idea. You'll see that all of the attacking threat is there. De Bruyne, Hazard, Lukaku is there, Tielemans is there. Central defensive-wise, they're not too bad. They've got Denea and Boyata supported by the likes of Alderweireld as well. Right side of defence is decent. Meunier and Castagne are both there at right fullback. Left fullback a little bit less well known. Foulon is Foulon, not sure, is the one that I've chosen to go with. He's not particularly well known. He's only got 3 caps to his name, and they've been pretty much in the last 3 games that I've given them as friendly matches. So you can see that he's not on the scene officially in theory, but this is attribute-wise as good as I could potentially find, I felt, in terms of being a left fullback. We could, of course, play Castagne down the left-hand side, but the problem with doing that is the minute Meunier gets an injury and you want a fresh alternative, health-wise, at right fullback, if this guy's been playing all the way through at left fullback, we lack a little bit of fitness then, potentially. So I wanted balance to my squad. So Castagne comes in as a alternate to Meunier down the right-hand side. And Foulon, you let me know. Foulon is going to be playing down the left-hand side. And his understudy is Cobalt, I would assume. I don't know. My pronunciation of these names is never very good, to be honest. But anyway, this is going to be the guy that's rotating at left fullback, Cobalt. And so you can see that whilst we do have the attacking threat, we also have some weak areas. And in reserve, there are quite a few youngsters that I've brought into this setup. Not so much a youngster, but Bonau is my 4th central defender. And there were a few others that I could choose from. I mean, Vertonghen was still around at the age of like 34, and I could have brought him into the squad. I didn't really want both he and Alderweireld, though, as my options, because neither of them have any pace. And this guy, at 22 years old, playing for Köln, he's got a decent amount of pace, but he's big. He's at 6'3". He's one of the bigger central defenders we've got. He's got really good heading, good strength, good jumping reach, etc. His aerial presence is going to be very good. Tackling maybe could do a little bit of work, but ultimately, I think as a 4th choice central defender, he offers something slightly different. So he's into the squad as well. And then we move into midfield and past the likes of Axel Witsel, who is going to be the Dendoncker rotation role. We've got a ball-winning midfielder and a deep-lying playmaker. The others in central midfield are all very young. So, for example, this guy here is into my squad for 2 reasons. 1, he's a reasonable player. But 2, he can cover so many positions if we want to. De Ketelaere, he comes into the squad as a rotating option. The main option in terms of the replacement for Tielemans, if we just clear that out, that made it look worse than it was, is this guy, Lokonga, should I say. And he comes in, another 21-year-old who's not got many caps to his name, isn't very experienced, but I wanted a slightly youthful approach to some of the understudies in this squad to see what Belgium have got to offer in terms of the next generation. So he is in the squad. And again, the third of the youngsters in and around my squad is this guy, Vanaken. And he again is only a few caps before I showed up. So he is known to people, not a youngster. What did I say as a youngster for? But an inexperienced player, should I say, is more to the point. Playing for Club Bruges, though. So this guy comes in as an alternative to Kevin De Bruyne and Dennis Praet, who are both going to play in that attacking midfield role. So you can see that whilst, as I say, that all of the superstars are there pretty much, there are one or two in and around the squad that make this just slightly away from being superstars all the way through the squad and the team. So I don't think it's quite going to be as easy as maybe you might think to win it with them. But we're certainly going to give it a go because ultimately they haven't managed it themselves so far in this golden generation. Maybe I'm the man to do it for them. So you can see that we're in the 4-2-3-1 situation. We're playing with the vertical tiki-taka. We're going basics, basically. We're going to put them out on the pitch in the best way I know how, in the best formation that I think will work for the players that we've got, and we're going to watch them play. The key for now is De Bruyne in that shadow striker role. Now, that's an odd role for him to play, sort of. I mean, if we go and have a look at him, he can do everything, and that's kind of why I wanted it. Lukaku is a big target man, can drop in a little bit and use his strength and physicality, and on the overlap through the centre, if we've got De Bruyne there, he can pretty much do it all and has the opportunity to potentially get into some pretty good goal-scoring moments for himself. If that doesn't work, of course, we can drop him in, we can drop him deep, we can change the Lukaku role a little bit. He's currently in the complete forward role, just because if we look at him, these are the superstars. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got finishing, he's got a reasonable ability to get involved in the team play. So I think this is a decent option for him. But again, if he's not quite scoring, then we will chuck him up front as an advanced forward or something and use that instead. But all of this is kind of always open to variants and changes along the way, of course. There's nothing set in stone. But the rest of this side should be good enough, I think, to get out of the group that we're in fairly comfortably. And then who knows what happens, really? Anything can happen after that point, can it? So I think we're in with a good shout. In terms of what our group is, let's go and have a look at our group. We've got, as in real life as well, we've got Denmark, Finland and Russia. I think the games have been slightly rejigged in terms of their running order a little bit for this particular group, but not too much. So first up for us, I think, is Finland. And so it's going to be an interesting start. And let's not beat about the bush anymore. Let's get into this and see how well we can do. So, as you'd expect, we are firm favourites for this particular clash against Finland. So I've used that in the team talk just to go out there, show them why we are favourites, come back with a win and make no bones about it. This is one for us to absolutely go and show up for. So we've gone with that in the team talk. In terms of, let's just make sure everything is as I want it to be. We'll take that off extended and put it onto key highlights for these episodes. I've been looking at the extended ones a little bit in the preparation for this, so that's why they were on. But in terms of my expectations are to dominate this group, absolutely, and go through comfortably and then see what happens. It is that simple, really. With this group of players, especially in those attacking roles, we should be able to comfortably do that. And getting off to a good start here against Finland is kind of essential, really. If we don't win this particular match, I think there's slightly harder ones to come in the likes of Denmark and Russia, who are the other two teams in our group. So, yeah, 17 minutes in, though, it has been a little bit quiet. You can see that Finland have got a throw in, but we've won the ball. Tielemans comfortably wins that, intercepts it in that midfield area, just at the top of the penalty box. He's going to be a key player for us. He's one of our creative influences in the side. Hazard has taken over and taken us all the way down to the opposition penalty box. It's found its way out to Meunier on the right-hand side. There's a chance for the tiny Eden Hazard, really. He's not a big guy, is he? But on that far post, he leaped better than his defender did. He got the header on the ball, and surprisingly, it's his head that puts us 1-0 up, really. That's not quite how I expected our first goal to come. in this particular championships, but I will take them any way they do come. With the likes of Lukaku in that 6-yard box as well, that's the kind of guy that you would have thought would have been powering them home with his head, but nope. It was Eden Hazard that got us underway after 25 minutes, I think it was, roughly. So ultimately, that's a good start. Finland with a good free kick opportunity, though. Get the ball in, and then they kind of nick the ball away from a sliding Lukaku and keep the pressure on a little bit as well. Good through ball for Pukki, and he puts it in the back of the net. Courtois didn't really do very much to close the angle particularly well, and the defence were a little bit static, and that is our fragility. That is the fragile point of this Belgian side, I would suggest, is that central defensive area. We've got a good goalkeeper. We've got some good, talented, creative players. Are we going to be defensively strong enough? Good question to ask. We'll only find that out as the tournament goes on. But at 35 minutes, it's back under our control in terms of possession. Again, it's Meunier down the right-hand side, gets another chance to cross in, chooses to go to the top of the box. Eventually, it's worked in. Hazard has a chance, but it's blocked. He regains possession. Fallon takes over down the left-hand side, gets all the way to the byline, drops it back. There's the cross in for De Bruyne. And there is our shadow striker sitting just on top of the 6-yard box, hooked it in with his left foot. And the goalkeeper had no chance from that kind of close range. And we do take a 2-1 lead at 35 minutes. Good play down the left-hand side. There's our left fullback that we don't really know too much about, Fallon. But he got involved in the play and drops it back to Hazard. Good cross in, and De Bruyne is always going to be a shoe-in for those types of chances, isn't he? And we go 2-1 up. With just a couple of minutes to go till half-time, we have dominated the game in terms of chances created and in terms of possession. So that's all very positive. But it does demonstrate that occasionally, if we give oppositions the opportunities to have a go at goal, sometimes we're going to let the ball in the back of the net because defensively, we do have some weak spots. But there we go. That's the first half done. I think we can be reasonably happy, but not overly so. So we're going to be hands in the pockets to chill out the gesture a little bit. Things are going well, but I know you're capable of even better. That's the sort of team talk that we need. We are in the positive mentality. We could go into attacking if we really felt we wanted to put them to the sword. But just at the moment, with the way the match stats have been going, I don't think that's totally necessary, if I'm honest. And we don't want to overdo it with these players. They've got some harder games to come, obviously, in this competition. So we're just going to take it steady with them for now. Try and get these points in the group stages early on. Rest a few players as the last group game happens, probably. Here's another highlight chance, though. Dendoncker on the ball out to Meunier again. The overlapping fullback's doing very well for us. Tielemans with a very good long shot. And the goalkeeper spills it a little bit, but parries it round the post for a corner kick. De Bruyne with the corner kick. Boyata under the ball and loops the ball over the top of the bar. Unfortunately, doesn't get a clean header on it. At 63 minutes, give it a couple of minutes and we will be making some substitutions. We can make 5 substitutions, I believe, and a 6th one later in the competition if we go into extra time at any point. So there are plenty of scope to rotate the players, and we are going to do it. It's a little bit of a no-no in terms of football, I would suggest, but we are actually going to make all of our substitutions in one go. Just get a lot of fresh legs on there and try and see out this game. So what we've got, you can see, is we've got 3 yellow cards. We've got De Bruyne, who's struggling with his conditioning. So all 4 of those players are immediately going to come out of the game. Castagna goes on. Cobalt, yeah, not sure, can go in at left fullback. Boyata comes out, and we're going to put Alderweireld in there because he's the more experienced player to help us see through the game. Lukaku comes out, and we've got Dries Mertens on the bench. He can come in for the last bit. And then, of course, De Bruyne has to come out just because of that low conditioning. And we have to wrap him in cotton wool, don't we, as much as we can. So Vanaken comes in on this particular occasion. Dennis Priat is out of the starting squad for today, but will potentially be in and around that position later in the tournament. So those are the changes we're going to make at this point. There are wholesale changes there. I do know that it could unsettle the balance a little bit, but I think that the statistics for this particular match show that we're in control of it. So I'm hoping that as we press play and go back into this second half, that we'll be able to see the game out. 75 minutes in, we'll just go in and we'll, let's praise them for having got 2-1 up, just to keep the morale high, see if we can get a good performance out of them for the last few minutes of this game. It doesn't look like much is happening, which kind of suits us. Very calmly, right the way through to the end of the game, we'll professionally take the points, do nothing silly, nothing dramatic, and get 3 points on the board, which we do. It wasn't the most amazing start, but it was a good professional performance. Couple of goals from key people getting them started in this particular tournament. You can see that there are some decent average ratings around some of our team, especially down that right-hand side with Meunier from the first half and the likes of De Bruyne getting on the score sheet, of course. So all in all, fair amount of positives so far from this first game. And Finland did okay, had their chance, took it, but ultimately our quality paid out and we got the 3 points. So Denmark and Russia played their game immediately after ours, and you can see that Denmark got a very good win. It was a 3-0 win in the end over Russia, so they've got off to a very good start. Puts them top of the group on goal difference just at the moment. But I'm very happy and comfortable with where we're at after the first game. I think it was a decent enough performance for a group of players that, to be honest, are still getting used to me as being their manager and the way that I want them to play a little bit. It's just the way this particular series has worked. But we do have Russia coming up. So potentially, if we can put them to the sword as Denmark did, we can potentially get through our group very comfortably, chuck them out of the competition early on and move forward into the game against Denmark, being able to rest some players possibly. But we'll have to wait and see about that. There might be 1 or 2 changes to the squad for the next game as well, just in terms of the fitness of players and protecting a few, etc. But the intention, just so you know, is that we will be playing every single game of this tournament on these episodes. So tomorrow we'll be coming back for Russia. The following day will be against Denmark, and then we'll move hopefully into the knockout stages and continue to play through them every day until we get knocked out or we win the competition. That's the intention for this tournament. And once that is completed and done, then we will return back to our normal Aberdeen and Truro type saves. But every day this week and beyond, depending on how far we go, it's all about the Belgian boys on their European trip. And hopefully we can bring back a trophy for them. That's going to basically do it for today's episode. Nice, easy start. We're just getting our feet under the desk, as it were, in charge of this national team. I think we're going to do okay. I think we're going to be a bit of a threat to most of the teams around us. We are going to have to slightly up our game, though, I think, in terms of just our stability and defence, and potentially putting teams to the sword. After all of the shots that we had today, a couple of goals could have basically been improved on a little bit. But anyway, let's see if we can do that tomorrow. Don't forget to come and join me on Twitch every day this week if you can. I'm usually there between 3 and 5 p.m, sometimes a little bit earlier, sometimes a little bit later. You'll just have to keep an eye on my Twitter and my Discord, and I'll let you know what's happening before I go live. But come and say hi there at twitch.tv/the United City FM. Come and join me here tomorrow for another of these particular episodes in the Belgian Boys Euro Trip series. Until then, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That'll help a new series get traction, and it helps it in the YouTube algorithms. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.